Thank you. Influencers no longer influence. In today's landscape, with today's consumers, influence isn't about shouting the loudest. It's not about having the biggest followership, and it's not about pushing polished messaging. Influence is about being real, it's about being relatable, and it's about being human. I spent 4 years as part of the leadership team at TikTok, and I had a front row seat to watch the rise of the short form video era. I watched as brands tried to navigate this new landscape, and they tried to connect with consumers in a way they never had before. And it quickly became clear to me that traditional methods were no longer enough. The old tools, strategies, and ways of working fell short. Why? Because the rules of influence have fundamentally changed. And these changes aren't just cosmetic, they're foundational. And at the heart of this shift is authenticity. Often, buzzwords that are thrown around in the industry have different meanings for different people. So before we go any further, I want to double-click and align on what we mean by authenticity. When we talk about authenticity, we like to think about it across 4 pillars. The first being genuineness. Authenticity is about feeling real. It's about being unfiltered and true to the creator's voice. Genuineness, or authenticity, should I say, it's not about being overly polished or engineered to be perfect. The more real the content feels, the more trustworthy and relatable it is. And authenticity is a large part about relatability. That's the second pillar, relatability. The more relatable, the more authentic. Content that speaks of shared experiences, values, and emotions, and therefore is relatable, delivers a deeper, more meaningful engagement. And relatability is 2-dimensional. Relatability of the content to the audience, and relatability of the content back to the brand. The third pillar of authenticity is transparency. Consumers of today are more discerning than ever. They know when they're being sold to, and they don't trust it. So with audiences who are savvy and skeptical, transparency is crucial. Transparency is about being open and about being honest. And the final pillar of authenticity is consistency. Authenticity is about being consistent over time. When we're consistent in the way we present ourselves, consistent in the way we show up, it builds trust and reinforces authenticity. So if we as brands and marketeers can incorporate some or all of these, then we are going to be more authentic. And authenticity isn't just another buzzword to throw around. It's a bottom line business driver. 88% of consumers say that authenticity is a key factor when deciding which brands to support. Because ultimately, when you deliver authenticity, you develop trust. And trust, that's the ultimate influence. 81% of consumers say that trust in a brand is a key factor in their purchase decisions. So brands that deliver authenticity build trust, develop consumer loyalty, and ultimately drive bottom line business impact. And true trust is built by the voices beyond your brand's boardroom. The reality is that trust isn't built by what you say about your brand, it's built by what your consumers say about it. A brand is no longer what we tell consumers it is, it's what they tell each other it is. The conversations happening in your brand's community are what shape trust and influence. And in the social era, trust and influence were shaped around who you followed. The power was concentrated in individuals. The bigger the follower count, the bigger the influence. Our timelines were curated based on followership. We followed our friends, our family, our sporting heroes, our favourite brands. But fast forward to today, we're in the content graph era, where genuine connections are no longer formed around people, they're formed around content. And this shift is big, because it's no longer about the voices we choose to follow, it's about the content that we consume and engage with. And consumers pay attention to content that feels relevant and authentic. So this is where real influence now lies, in the power of the content itself. Recently, I became a parent. Please meet my son, Bo. Very, very quickly, as you can imagine, my content feeds have become filled with parenting tips, advice, and content. I haven't gone out of my way to follow parenting influencers or parenting-related handles. Instead, the content finds me, thanks to the content graph. The algorithms have recognized I'm consuming and engaging with more parent-like content, and therefore is serving me more relatable content to engage with. And this is ultimately the essence of the content graph. It surfaces content to you based on your consumption and engagement habits, not based on who you follow. And this brings us to a crucial point. If you want your brand to be truly relatable, you must embrace the power of diverse, everyday content. It's not the glossy, high production ads that resonate with your audience. It's the raw, real-life moments that feel authentic and they feel familiar. It's everyday content that delivers a more meaningful experience because of its authenticity and mainly because of its relatability. And this kind of content isn't just engaging, it resonates on a deeper level. And in today's world, anyone with a mobile device can create content that's engaging and authentic, and therefore deeply relatable. Meaning the power to create content, and therefore influence, is no longer in the hands of the few, it's in the hands of the many. Everyday creators are now shaping conversations, driving trends, and communities with content that resonates. This type of content, the raw, unfiltered, and real, is what cuts through the noise and wins attention. And to truly harness this community-driven influence and deliver relatability, brands need to make a crucial shift. They need to let go of brand-led messaging. As we've already mentioned today, consumers are more discerning than ever. They are savvy and they are skeptical. They crave authenticity. They crave relatability. So when you embrace consumer-led narratives, you deliver genuine, heartfelt connection. So this means, as brands and marketeers, instead of dictating the message, let your consumers or everyday creators lead the conversation. Allow them to talk about your brand in a way that resonates with them, and therefore resonates with their like-minded audience. This is not about controlling the narrative. It's about empowering those outside of the boardroom to craft it in a way that feels authentic to them. And let them deliver that messaging through raw, authentic, everyday content. Not highly polished hero content. In today's fast-paced digital landscape, content shelf life is very, very short. Brands need a constant flow of content to stay relevant, to beat creative fatigue, and keep your audience engaged. This shift isn't just about more content. It's about content that genuinely connects and resonates. And when brands embrace this approach, they place themselves at the pulse of culture. They become more than just advertisers. They become cultural participants. They become part of conversations that matter most to their audience. And brands can do all of this with more control. In today's content-driven world, investing money needs to be done based on what truly matters, the content itself and the performance it drives. You have an opportunity to move away from outdated cost per creative models to agile, paid media, usage-based pricing, which provides an opportunity to adopt an objective approach to content investment, focusing on what delivers results, not just what we deem to look good. And as a result of shifting your investment towards performance-based metrics, you not only maximize business impact, but you align your brand success with the success of those who create for you, fostering longer-term, always-on relationships with the creators who drive impact for your brand, keeping your brand at the forefront with content which is authentic, content which is relatable, and aligned to your marketing goals. Content creation remains a significant industry challenge. It's often time-consuming, resource-intensive, and costly. With an innovative approach, we enable brands to unlock content with a single click. We can turn content struggles into opportunity. An opportunity to connect with consumers more consistently and in a more meaningful way. An opportunity to adopt an always-on content strategy that drives real bottom-line impact. At EC Squared, our solution and way of working is not just incrementally better, it's fundamentally different because the rules of the game have changed and it's a whole new ball game. And in this new game, with these new rules, the most successful brands are the ones that don't act like brands. It's the brands that act and feel like people. And it's not just about feeling like people. It's about making a positive social impact along the way. We believe that making your brand feel more human isn't just good for business, it's good for society. We help brands drive positive social impact by creating opportunities for individuals, as well as enabling brands to market in a more morally, socially responsible way. We not only foster stronger connections, but we also help build a better world. We empower your brand to be a force for good, delivering authentic content that not only resonates with your audience, not only drives bottom-line business impact, but also contributes to making a meaningful difference in the world. This is the power of everyday content. Thank you.